I made it. Today is test day to see if my 360 camera rig works. I'm kind of excited about that. It's freaking cold up here. I got here, it's 40 degrees. It's not winter. It's 40 degrees. Got my feet wet getting in. Woof. It's a painful reminder how cold these waters are here. But if we didn't have these cold waters on this lake, then we wouldn't have all of this either. So anyway, I think I'm going to cruise around for a little bit and get cozy, being back in heaven here. There's nobody else out here. There's no way to convey how much I love this place. My heart truly lives here. I should make note that this place is on a level 1 fire alert. Can't see sisters from here. You can see the ridge lines and stuff over there, but there's a lot of smoke out there. They're not evacuating Clear Lake. There's a lot of smoke, but there is fire notices posted everywhere here and at the entrance of Clear Lake here. I'm sure that if it gets close enough, somebody's going to start yelling. On the other hand, that if this place did light up, I'm probably in about the safest place you could be, like out here on the water. Sans the smoke that would no doubt be rolling through, but what we've seen of the fires in 2020, it burns pretty quick. So I guess if it did light up, I'll just stay on the water. It's where I need to be anyway. Right here. This is where my soul rests. So on these clips right here, this is early in the morning. You see that tree coming up on my left in the craft right there. These are the trees that I've talked about sometimes that, with the glare you can see looking out a little beyond that one right that's just coming into view right there. These trees early in the morning and towards the evening are almost invisible, and some of them are extremely close to the surface. This is why I'm not a big fan of people using paddle boards on this lake. Hey, you be you, but some of these are very close and you can hit them, and I've got some footage I'll be putting in here of the examples of that. So here's some of those trees that we just went by in the overhead view, and these are taken with the 360 underwater camera, and you can see how close that is to the surface. There are some that are much closer to the surface than that, so if you've got a skeg on something or whatever, you can easily hit these things on a skeg, and of course if you're on a stand-up paddleboard, you're going to stop suddenly. Not cool. And here is an example of one of the trees I have footage from a couple of years ago that used to be upright, and it's been hit by a boat, a kayak, or possibly, hopefully nobody shoved it over with a paddle. But these things are over 3,000 years old, so we got to be really careful with these things, because this is a real sad thing to witness, especially knowing I've seen it upright. Now, us humans, we have a tendency to name things, and I give some of these trees names so I can remember which ones I'm talking about. This one I've called Fuzz Top for quite some time for pretty obvious reasons. I've got other names for others, Batman and Flip Off Bird and some others you'll see in this video. But anyway, so this is taken with my 360 dive rig that I came up with. And I'm pretty happy to say that while the image resolution is of course a little bit lower on a 360 camera due to the lower light settings than on a normal GoPro, my field and range of view and selecting what I see and how I view it is expanded greatly. And this does seem to be working quite nicely. And here I am actually getting that shot from the surface up here off of another 360 camera, just so you can see how it all works. That's how you get it done. Now, another thing to note for today's footage, you'll notice there was a nearby fire, and that is ash that is floating in the water, so it's also obstructing a lot of the light. It got really, really smoky there during the day, and that's a lot of ash that's fallen. It was all over myself and cameras, and obviously in the water, making some of the imagery not quite the high end. So anyway, understanding that there's a fire out there and light is going to be a little bit of an issue, especially with 360, that's not going to stop me from doing what I came here to do. And here's a great example of what I can now do with my underwater 360 rig that I came up with. This is called, you'll notice the camera's following the duck. That's called deep tracking. I use an Insta360 X3. And it allows you to select items and stuff to kind of keep them in the center if you choose to have them that way. But there were some fun moments like this. This duck just messed with me all day long. It was really funny. I did a YouTube short that's also on my channel of this same duck, actually. And he just cruised around, had a good time. Saw him throughout the day. Spent lunch break with him. I don't know what his deal was, but he must have just been bored. So throughout the day I was utilizing both the new underwater rig setup that I came here to test this day with, and I also used my normal dive camera system that I use and some other camera equipment that I normally take out. But combining them all into this particular video, there are definite differences as far as the actual clarity and detail. You're dealing with sensor sizes and blah, blah, blah. So I think the trade-off is the ability to keep in frame certain things. It trumps out the slightly lower quality of a 360 with what I'm able to actually capture. I think I can live with that. I think what I'm really after in these videos is to have an experience and effect. And I may not always be able to provide like laser clarity, but it's moments like this duck right here that I am now able to better provide for my videos. And you know what? That's worth it. You know, earlier I talked about giving some of these trees names for recognition so I can kind of remember them in the future. I call this one the bird, and I'm just going to let you figure that out as to why. But it's something that I'm able to remember, so when I come back through to film these again, as I track these trees over the years, like the one that is now, you know, half tipped over, you know, I'm able to kind of go, yeah, I remember you, you know, and some of these trees in particular always stand out. This one in particular, different part of the lake, I'm able to cruise right up to this one. This one I've always just kind of referred to personally as pointing to God. These trees have been here for 3,000 years, and it's hard to believe they're still here. These aren't just stumps in an old lake. So they just fascinate me. So this clip right here is taken with my normal dive rig, and you'll probably notice a little more clarity in the rippling and the shadowing. And you can see those two fish on the right of center. Two nice trout that I managed to capture. The drawback here is while I can get really good footage with this system here, and I always have, is that I'm not able to track those fish like I can with the 360, and ultimately that's what I'm trying to accomplish by having both. So ultimately, you can see an imagery like this with my normal dive rig, that the image quality is better. Today was really all about getting out there and trying out the 360 camera. And I think it's going to make it so I can do both things. Um, and I really like the footage I get out of my dive rig, like you're seeing right now. And I like the capabilities of the 360. So I think combining the two over time is going to work really well. And on top of that, the kayak that I'm on now, the Three Waters Big Fish 103 pedal, that has really aided in being able to capture much more footage that I can pick from, which is part of the reason I went with a 360 now as well. I'm no longer losing so much footage for any type of camera rig, and I can do multiple things at once with a consistent speed. So having that pedal drive kayak is a real godsend. So while we're here on this particular clip, that is a major hunk of ejector right there that came out of the mountain when it blew in one of the 3 eruptions that affected this area. That's a ginormous hunk of rock that flew several miles, to say the least, to land right there. So this clip right here is taken with the 360 dive rig that I've got, and you'll notice it's keeping the central peak of that lava flow in frame. And that's one of the things I'm really enjoying about this, is the capacity to do that and turn around wherever I need to go or wherever I need to look. And you'll see I'm able to pivot around now, and what you're looking at this point is what I believe was the original valley floor down underneath some of that sediment, where the original river went through this area before the lava flows came through and closed it off. I have found what I believe to be both ends of the original, how it was way back when. Obviously, I'm not a geologist. I'm not going to pretend to be. But, you know, it doesn't take a genius to know river-worn river walk. I say that 3 times. And it's not hard to figure out. If you look hard enough, you can find it. So here's an example of some of the things I should now be able to do deploying this particular camera when necessary. It's not going to become my primary one, but it's certainly going to add to the capabilities of what I can do on this kayak. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of able to roll my point of view around to wherever I want, whenever I want. And I can do that in the editing program. And you're able to zoom in and zoom out as well, which is really kind of handy. Again, it's digital zoom, so do be careful with that if you're going to be messing with that. And like here, I'm able to pull back and around and see the underside of the Big Fish 103 pedal. And then, you know, you're able to get some really cool effects if you want to go that route too. As I'm fixing to pull out right here into what they call a reverse tiny world, and that gives you an example of something else I'm able to do. And normally this kind of shot right here, I'd just be going alongside of it directly at it. It looks similar to this in my normal dive camera, and sometimes I need that shot. But you can see what's going on all of a sudden here. Now, what I've done is I've utilized what's called deep track on the tip of that tree. I know where this tree is, and normally this water in this area is extremely clear, but that's a lot of ash that's in the water this day. But it doesn't detract from the fact that it is a test day and trying out to see how this is all going to work. Now, some of the people who have followed my videos remember these 3 trees that I call the Trident. These are the ones that the mermaids swam around and through. I see this cluster of trees as kind of the hallmark of this lake. Just me personally, they are a real staggering thing to witness in real life. the three of them close together like that, it's just phenomenal. So of course I had to get some footage of this, and decided to go ahead and use the 360 to attempt a different perspective on them. And I'm really glad I did. I'm kind of liking the ability that this brings to bear now. So it's kind of an interesting day. It's Catch-22. I can't even see the other side of the lake. It's so smoky. That's the bad news. The good news is, I guarantee I'm not getting any reflection off the lensing. So for like using the Telson Dome, or so far the 360 seems to be working okay. I'll find out when I start editing. I did a quick preview when I shored up the last time. It looks really promising, but we'll see. But right now I'm got my regular dive camera doing some side views, but man, is it smoky. It started off this morning like okay, and then it's just gradually gotten worse and worse. So, and the problem with that is that without direct overhead sunlight, it makes it much more difficult to see. And when you're on this lake, if you're blissfully ignorant, I guess that's okay, but knowing what's here as well as I do, I definitely prefer to be able to see what's in front of me. That could be anything from a tree, upright tree, to lava flows. There's all kinds of just domes and stuff around here. And not too keen on hanging up my dive rig, my 360, my rudder, or my prop, or anything like that. So, yeah, you gotta be careful. You know, a lot of beauty here, but keep it real, man. So, I'm heading out into the open main body of the lake. There are other people out there that finally showed up, pretty much fishing. It's pretty much what everyone's doing. Don't know if they're going to catch anything or not. Maybe with the smoke, the fish will be a little more bold to come up top. I don't know. I'm not seeing a whole lot of rippling going on, so hard to say. But maybe it's just the experience of fishing. So I'm going to take my dive rig. I'm going to go check out some of these lava domes and stuff, and I'll probably drop the 360 in and try to get some footage with a 360, because I think I can, with the 360 camera, I should be able to deep track with it. And that's going to be a whole new capability for me. I'm kind of excited about. So, check back with you in a bit. Yeah, so that didn't work out so good. There's a lot of ash in the water. So I tried getting something while I was out over here, but yeah, normally this is just so clear right here. You know, you can't win them all. I've been very fortunate to have spent a lot of days on this lake where I've been able to see to incredible depths and get some incredible footage. So, you know, I'm really not going to complain, but that's enough of this. Well, let's see. It's 12:15. I got here at 6:30, something like that. And man, the smoke just keeps getting worse and worse. My eyes are actually burning now. Not horribly, but yeah, here's this messed up thing. I'm really hoping this is not the last time I get to film this place like this, because man, we don't need another fire like we had in 2020, and we certainly don't need one cruising around through here, coming through Clear Lake. I'll attach some pictures of the fire grid that they've got posted up there. I can put those in right here. And honestly, from a bird's flight, bird's eye, whatever, as a bird flies, I guess, I'm not really sure how far away the fire is. And the wind is coming this way, which is no doubt drawing the smoke into us. But it's so bad now, I can't even see the trees at the other end of the lake. And I'm out on the main body now. This better not be the last time I get to see this place like this. Don't have a lot of faith in our governor. Not after the fires of 2020. I won't get into that. But if you know, you know. Anyway. So far, so good. There's nothing else. I got to get back out on Clear Lake again. Boy, at 40 degrees this morning, it's starting to cool off. I think my season at Clear Lake is just about over. If I come here again this year, if I get to come here again, it's going to start icing over pretty quick. So by the time I get here in the morning, there's usually ice on the water, and you got to break the ice with your kayak. It's entertaining. Anyway, onward we go.